Welcome to the Tanya Acker Show. Grammy and award-winning Adam Blackstone is a musician, a producer, a musical director, and he has worked with some of the biggest names in music. Rihanna, Jay-Z, Justin Timberlake, the Jonas Brothers, Alicia Keys, and most recently, he was the musical director for the Grace for the World tour. The tour was a part of the World Meeting on Human Fraternity, which is sponsored by the Vatican. And the purpose of the tour was to create unity through music. And some of the folks that performed were really something. It was like a masterclass of talent. Folks like John Legend, Andrea Bocelli, Jelly Roll, Jennifer Hudson, Pharrell Williams. It really was something. You can see the concert streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. Adam is here to talk about what that experience was like and also to talk about some of the other things that inspire the decisions that he makes. Here I am with Adam Blackstone. Thank you for being here. And please don't forget to subscribe. Welcome to the musical genius, Adam Blackstone. Thank you for being here.
No problem, Tanya. How are you?
I'm great. All the better because you're here with me today. I want to first talk to you about this spectacular concert that you just directed. You were a musical director for the Grace for the World concert. Pharrell Williams was involved. Andrea Bocelli was involved. What was that? Talk about the show. And I know that people can see it on Disney Plus and Hulu. Talk about that if you can.
So every 25 years, the Vatican puts on an event. It's not always a concert. It's an event. And it's trying to bring our world together. I've done a lot of things, but I must say this has been one of the most inspiring moments of my life, to see different races and creeds and worshiping one God, but also through the gift of music. I think that showed me the power of music. I had Pharrell Williams was the producer, Bocelli was the producer, but then we invited the Clips, John Legend, Jelly Roll, Teddy Swims, Karol G, Angelique Kidjo, Voices of Fire Choir. I'm missing somebody. Bam Bam from Thailand. It was just really crazy. And so just to see the power that music had, it really was a culminating moment for me, for my career, that I'm just very, very thankful to have been a part of. And it happens every 25 years. I'm blessed to have been a part of this one. I pray that God extends me another 25 to be a part of the next one, or at least just see it. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those moments where we as a culture, a musician community, we were very proud of that moment, just to inspire through music.
You said that it's about bringing different people and bringing different communities together. And just think about that diversity of artists.
Yes.
John Legend, Jelly Roll, like a choir, Bam Bam from Thailand. What is the theory? Like, what's the energizing principle behind bringing all of these folks together to share music in this way at the Vatican? At the Vatican,
for sure. I think for me, it's easily said to just inspire. You know, for me to show my two children and many other Black and brown kids that, you know, you don't have to shoot a ball. You don't have to be a musician. You know what I mean? You can dream big, trust God, and do whatever you want to do. By no means that I think playing at the Vatican was in my bucket list. You know what I mean? And I have done some pretty big things, thankfully, Super Bowls and, you know, All-Star Game, Grammys, Emmys, Oscars. But that, for some reason, 300,000 plus attending, I'm hearing some crazy numbers of viewership. I really don't even know the real number, but definitely over the hundreds of millions. And so all of that came together really just to uplift and inspire. Given the world that we're in today, specifically as a Black man, to go to the Vatican and be accepted for who I am, You know what I mean? Not be looked down upon because of the color of my skin, or how I worship, or how I praise God, or how I thank God, or the type of music that I play. It really was inspiring to me as a come together moment for our world.
And so I assume the Pope, I haven't watched it yet. I will.
Pope Leo.
The Pope was there? Was
Yes,
the Pope
he
there?
was. Yes, he was.
And so is the Pope, because he's from Chicago.
He's from the Chi.
Was the Pope
We saw him giving a little, I got to see this clip of him giving a little shout praise, little Kojic Baptist Pentecostal shout praise while we was playing Pharrell and a song called Joy. And it felt good. At the end of the day, it's about uplifting each other as a whole. We are such a minuscule part of this entire world, specifically us in the United States. I realized that I'm such a microcosm of what this global scale means to be creative, to be a creator, and to be loved by the creator. So it felt good to be a part of that.
And the Pope was there moving through your music. I'm just going to interpret a little bit. Kojic is, for those of you who don't know, Church of God in Christ.
So I was just calling out some of our denominations, as what I'll say, for Christian, specifically Black, Christian denominations. I grew up Baptist. I grew up African Methodist, Episcopal as well. The Midwest and all over the world, all over the country is heavy Church of God in Christ. Pentecostal as well is a lot of churches, white or Black. But over there, like I said, they didn't ask. They didn't care. It was all about one God and just the uplift. And again, like, not even to drive Jesus and bash it into people. But I think the message was clear with us coming together in unity. And I don't mind representing that no matter where I go, because I just know where my gift comes from. I know, like I said, that wasn't on my bucket list, so it's all in God's plan.
It seems a particularly poignant moment or time, rather, to bring together all of these different communities to celebrate one thing, because I don't like to say that this is the most divided we've ever been, right? Like, I think that if you know a little history.
It can feel like that sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's the most divided we've ever been, but I will say this, and I'm not a kid. It's the most divided I've seen the country in my lifetime, to be sure. And I think that even when you talk about things like spirituality and what that means, even that, like even religion, I think is being wielded in a really divisive, angry way that, candidly, I used to teach Sunday school, so I feel like I can say this. I don't know that Jesus would recognize some of the things that people are purportedly doing in his name.
You're very right about that. You're very right about that.
What role do you think music has in healing some of this division and helping bring people together?
So I think about things like, ironically enough, we just went through a pandemic. I don't care what anybody says. That was a short period of time ago if you're over 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that brought us back out of that was sports and music. People wanted to be entertained. People wanted to feel uplifted. People wanted to sing their favorite songs, see their favorite artists, discover new music that would get them out of the funk that we possibly were all in based off of our circumstances. And so it's a very similar thing when it comes to division in our country. For me, you sing a song like Happy, I don't care where you are. I don't care what you're feeling. You got to think about those times that you were happy. You know what I'm saying? You sing a song like Amazing Grace and you think about God's grace and you think about whoever you intend to worship, about the things that you have been through as a person and how you got out of those things. You know what I'm saying? So whether that is death, and we see assassinations today, we see killings of our Black men out on the street, we see protests, but God's grace is still very sufficient and it always can be worse. I try to give that perspective as well sometimes to myself. It can feel like a spiritual or emotional lynching at times when we're pigeonholed. I think about my man Jimmy Kimmel that just got kind of censored. If that was a song or if that was a music, or if that was the Vatican telling me I couldn't play the clips or couldn't play John Legend, it's very similar. You know what I mean? Just to kind of hold what our amendment rights are to have freedom of speech. And who knows what song and what lyric inspires who that moment. So music has the power to heal, has the power to make you remember where you were in the good times, even if you might be stuck in a bad time. I think tempo, key, who's singing it, this is all music geek stuff, but this is how I feel, like the timbre of the song, the tempo of the song. All of that puts us in a very specific place. And my job as musical director in a lot of these events is to make it be inspiring.
You mentioned Jimmy Kimmel. So let's just pivot there for a minute.
Let's do it.
Did that situation, and by the way, ABC said they're putting him back on the air, but two very large station groups said that they still won't carry him. And I don't want to quote the reasons why, because I didn't independently check it. Yeah. I think that's one thing that we have to do a better job of, is not just quoting things that we see on Facebook. But as I saw it reported, they wanted more concessions from him. I think they wanted him to do some things in particular for Charlie Kirk's family. Haven't double checked it, but I know he's not coming back on those station groups, at least not for now.
That's crazy.
Do you feel worried? Do you feel worried as an artist that you could just run afoul?
I definitely do. I have been directly affected. I hope I'm able to talk about this, but I have been directly affected by the Trump administration with a show that I was very much looking forward to doing at the Kennedy Center. Ooh. And he then appointed himself as
head of the Kennedy Center,
the chairman, to see who was going to get honored. I won't mention the artist's name, but it was an African American that was getting honored, and music was going to be a storyteller, a major storyteller in the honoring of that person. And when he appointed himself as the chair, he scrapped it. And so one can only think that it was scrapped because of the color of our skin, you know what I'm saying? Or he didn't align with maybe who they were honoring, you know what I'm saying? And so I am scared for things like that, where we're taught to, I know in our culture, give people their flowers now, you know what I'm saying? So if somebody can come and say, no, they're not worth the honoring or what you think that they're worth, or he can come and say to Jimmy Kimmel, if you don't say what I think you should say, your words are not worthy to be on air. It is a very scary thing for us as creators in general. And so, yes, I am worried. I have a black son. I have to censor him and his actions, or preemptively censor it, so that he knows if he gets stopped. My mom used to tell me 10-2. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want no issues. You put your hand on the steering wheel. And these are the things as black men specifically that I have to teach my son, because what I don't want the gun to go off by mistake with another person who doesn't look like him, thinking that he is causing harm because of what they may have been through or were also taught. It's a sad thing. I remember Oprah saying something maybe 20 or 30 years ago, like, racism isn't going to stop until some of the elder statesmen aren't here anymore, right? But you look at 2025 and the elder statesmen may not be here, but their grandsons are here, right? And so we as a culture, I was just talking about this, we as a black culture specifically, we are taught compassion and forgiveness and grace and mercy. And I don't know if everybody else is. And so they project what they're taught onto us. And so it is a scary thing to think that we can be censored, not just in our words, but even in our art. Never thought that would happen today. I look at I'm a jazz head, so I look at Louis Armstrong and Nat King Cole and Sammy Davis and Ella Fitzgerald and all these people that couldn't go into certain clubs and bathrooms and stuff like that because of the color of their skin. And even though it may not be that bad right now, it still feels like if you ain't saying what we want you to say, it's not happening. It's not happening. So it can be scary for sure.
I want to go back to the Kennedy Center issue, and I will respect your desire not to share the name of the artist. I wish you would, but I won't press it. It strikes me that there is a systematic erasure that's being attempted in the country right now. Don't tell too many Black stories. Don't talk about Black history. Don't talk about Black people who have done things. And
we have to tell our own story for sure.
And on top of that, let's try to diminish and disrespect the contributions and the voices and the presence of Black folks where we hear and see them. You are somebody with a platform and with influence and a big voice. So how do you fight back against that? And more importantly, how do you support or talk to other people who don't have your platform and voice to fight back about that?
That's a good question. I know that I can do more. I know that I can do more. Sometimes I get caught up I do work for NBC and ABC and Fox and CBS and all of these things. But I also am a Christian. I also am a father. I also am a husband. And people know that about me as well. I think one of the biggest things that I can do and have done is to show up as myself everywhere I go. That's a little bit of hip hop. That's a little bit of jazz. That's a little bit of gospel. That's a little bit of thug, but that's a lot of suburban boy. That's a little bit of mama's boy, but that's a little bit of no nonsense when it comes to my business. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what I try to tell my children and other Black and brown kids that look like me. Like, no matter where you are, be yourself. I can't conform. I'm in a position as to where people are hiring me now because of my creativity and because of what's in my brain. It's not about the skill on the bass guitar or my piano playing. It's really that they trust my creative process and my production to make sure that I execute their vision. Right? So I wouldn't be myself if I showed up in a space thinking that I had to be or say something other than what I'm actually being hired for, which is my brain, my creativity. So I'm thankful. A lot of people don't get that opportunity that I have. I'm going to hire Black always. I am going to show nepotism always. Because I feel like my friends and my family are actually the best at what they do too. It just so happens to be that, but I'm going to always give the opportunity to my people first. Now, if they take it and don't uphold that mantle that I've set forth for them, that's something different. But to think about hiring outside of the circle per se, the family per se, right? They don't do it on the other side at all. And so I learned also, here's another thing that I do. I watch and I learn. And we do have allies. All white people are not bad. All non-people of color are not bad. I'm thankful to have friends like Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake and Tim McGraw and, people like that, where it's like, Jelly Roll and people higher up where they accept me for me, but also teach me sometimes. Like, bro, you won't believe some things that I hear at the local bar. You know what I'm saying? That they'll never say to you or about you or to your face or whatever. But just know everybody out here is not your friend. You know what I'm saying? I have my white brother, Clay Sears, tells me that all the time. He grew up in North Philly in the hood. Probably had a blacker experience than me growing up in the suburbs, right? But because of the color of his skin, he can walk into a different restaurant or a bar and they feel comfortable enough with him to be saying some stuff, you know what I mean? So he lets me know and people let me know that our world is still very divided. It becomes less and less because hip hop is pop music right now. I don't care where you go, what city you go to, what school, what suburb, what hood, or what farm. They listening to Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Migos, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Tribe Called Quest, The Roots, all of that, right? That's the truth. We cannot deny our influence on not just our culture, but the world. And so you get to a place where music has the power to unite us, but that it also is on a pedestal in a different way. And if sometimes if you're not LeBron or you're not Kendrick or you're not Dr. Dre or you're not whatever, they still may look at you less than, or they look at those people and say, just entertain us and don't say anything.
Yes.
Right. And so I'm striving my best to find that balance. I'm not going to say I'm Martin Luther King with it yet, but I do feel obligated to uphold our culture in a way, to speak my mind, to show us the ropes in a different way, to show people, when I go to these shows, you can have a job in the NBA by not playing basketball. I see the same camera people. I hear the same announcers. I see the same people setting up the nets. You know what I mean? Like all of those things are jobs that these owners and these people pass down to their people. That's just the truth. And I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying we're not taught that. And so one of my jobs is to hopefully try to teach that, pass my business on to my son, my family, my cousins, all of that, so they can keep it in the family, but also expand and know that, there is a bigger vision for everybody that looks like us.
Part of creating that bigger vision is also giving folks some sense of release. I don't mind saying, look, you pointed out periods in time where things were harder. They were certainly harder for my parents, for my grandparents, for my great-grandparents. There is still a fine line you have to walk if you are Black and you want to be taken seriously. You also remind us that we should find our joy and that we should keep our joy. How important is it to you that we continue to find and seek and hold joy in moments like this?
It's everything for me. Social media also allows us the space to show joy, Black boy joy, and show my son and daughter, the good times from back in the day too, and not just have them be feeling like slaves were the only thing that we were or anything
Correct.
like that. You know what I'm saying? Like books and library. They love going to the library. My wife is a professor at a prestigious university. So we have to do our history, but also we have to show the joy as well. We have to show it. Sometimes social media can look like a highlight reel, a ESPN real quickie thing, but it also shows that it's possible to do. I get inspired by people. I don't really have a hateration bone in my body. I'm like, I see one of my peers doing something that I haven't done. I'm like, I'm striving to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at people like Ricky Minor and Questlove, and Ricky Minor is an acclaimed musical director and bassist as well. And, I was up against him 3 or 4 times in the Emmy category for best musical direction. I won against him. He has, I think, 4 or 5, but he said, I've been nominated 18 times. I mean, I lost 13. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, you see these trophies, that's cool, but them other 13 times was a mother too, you know what I mean? And so things like that. And he always says, have an attitude of gratitude. And that also means to me where, you have to take the ebbs and flows. There's going to be ups and downs. One of the things that I realized in award season per se is that being recognized for your creative work is the win right there. That's the win. Winning the actual trophy for sure is the mountaintop, but just knowing that it's the ability to be recognized for the body of work or for a show or for your choreography or your musical direction or for your script or for your, your visual art, that means a lot, especially by your peers, because a lot of our peers don't look like us. And so to know that, they recognize Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl was one of the best shows of 2025. For them to say that is a big deal. Dr. Dre at the Super Bowl was one of the best shows. Sometimes we also get caught up, and this is where me and you come in, T, where it's like we get in our own bubble of success and we don't realize the outside world doesn't really see us like that at times. You know what I mean? I have tunnel vision and I don't mind not going out. I'm not a party going guy. My work takes me out to travel a lot, so I don't really do too much outside the house. I love my house, so I like being at home. I consider myself a homebody. But when you do that and you stay in your creative bubble, you sometimes don't realize what the outside world either perceives you as, or the work that does need to still be done, like you mentioned, to go out in the world and affect it in a different way. So I'm trying to keep joy not only inside my own heart, but also just to spread joy as well. And things like the Vatican show, things like doing the award shows and people's favorite songs and stuff that keep me relevant as well, allow me to see the joy when those songs are being played.
You have worked with really just legends and some of the greatest and most popular artists on the planet. Rihanna, Jay-Z, Justin Timberlake. I mean, the list just goes on and on. So I'll put you on the spot a little bit. Uh-oh. Is there something, I won't say who's the favorite or who was problematic, because I'm not trying to get folks in trouble like that, but who is someone who taught you the most of the artists that you've worked with? And you don't just have to limit yourself to one person.
Yeah, I want to say this first and foremost. I have learned something from every artist in every situation. I'm going to just start chronologically and I'm going to miss some people, but being discovered by the Roots crew allowed me to see a sense of family from the beginning. They stick together. They're brothers and sisters. They have internal fights or disagreements or whatever. But when you see them on stage, it is all love. I learned that very, very early from the Roots crew. I think I learned after that from somebody like Jill Scott, where, be very unapologetic of how you feel and let your art speak to yourself first. And then people will see the authenticity in it and want to, ride that wave as well. I learned that from her. I learned from somebody like Janet Jackson that no matter what you've done in the past, the next day is another day to be even greater. There's people like her that can ride off of a 1988 hit, but it's like she was always striving for greatness and to be better, whether that was in her choreography and her singing and her wardrobe and her acting, whatever it was. She was not living off of the past. So that's something that I still teach my children to this day. I look at somebody like Justin Timberlake, where he taught me that it was never too late to transcend what people may have looked at you as in the past. He comes from this boy band, NSYNC type of thing, but he really embraced Black culture, number one. Very unapologetic about that, no matter what people say, by working with Pharrell and Timbaland very early when we didn't almost, know who some of those people were outside of the hip hop vein. You know what I mean? I learned that it's never too late to reinvent and, just become greater. I learned from Rihanna that sometimes it's not about what you're doing right now. It's about vision and go get a makeup line. Go make bras and underwear and drawers for men and go write children's stories and go do a voiceover for the Smurfs and all of these things that when I was first playing Umbrella on my bass guitar, I never even thought that was in her brain to do. You know what I'm saying? And so now when my daughter at 5 years old thinks about Rihanna or thinks about somebody like Alicia Keys, music is not the first thing that they think about. My daughter is singing songs from Alicia Keys' Broadway play. My cousins are wearing Savage Fenty and not thinking about a song from Rihanna. You know what I mean? And then all the way up to now, today, working on Broadway, and I skipped so many artists in there. Jay-Z being the business and mogul that he is, very similar to the Rihanna moniker, which he kind of taught her as well, I'm sure. It's just that, what's the next play? What is always the next thing? So I'm very thankful to have had, I don't know how many that was, 6 or 7 people that just came to my mind right away. But like, there's so many other moments and so many other artists that have all taught me things. But those are the ones that stand out because I live my life today based off of those 6, 7, 8 principles for sure.
It seems that one of a real unifying theme there is expansion and not being limited by either your successes of the past, not being limited by what people tell you your place is.
Yeah.
Even if it's a good place. What do you want and hope for your children? You've got 2. We were chatting before, a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Yes.
What do you want for your kids?
Adam Jr. is 10 and Adia Gladys is 5. You might be able to hear her in the background.
She's making herself there. She's expanding. She's expanding.
For sure. She is the expansion for sure. I want them to follow their dreams. I want them to not have any limits. I want my son specifically to know that his name carries weight, but there's nothing to be ashamed to live up to or down to at that point. I'm not perfect. We all go through some generational things where it's like you have to break the cycle a little bit or just forge your own path. And so that's one of the things that I want them to know with that Blackstone name. I want my daughter to just know how beautiful she is every day. I think I tell her 1,000 times a day, you are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. So that if any man come and don't tell her that in 30 more years, it's like my daddy told me, you know what I'm saying? And I know that's so surface, but like when you ask me, that's my goal. There's a lot of young girls out there that don't feel the love from their circle of people, fathers, mothers, whatever. And same with the boys. It's like I want them to know that they can do anything. I'm gonna support them. We all make mistakes. I'm an older parent, so I'm kind of learning from my peers who have 17 and 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds that it's okay to be the friend, but also parenting and respect means a lot as well. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes back in the day, I might get killed for saying this, but we lived in a fear of our parents, and I don't want them to do that. I want them to know that, nah, bro, I'm actually really on your side. I'm gonna come bail you out of whatever. Don't be afraid to tell me you my guy forever. I don't care what you do. It's me and you always, son. You know what I mean? Daughter is always that. It's us, never them. So that's what I hope for my kids for sure.
You are talking about really instilling in your young people, but I also think that by extension, and even just sort of circling back to the concert for a second, it's about being comfortable in your space and in the world, and recognizing that as much as we love and uphold and celebrate the culture and the history, sometimes your allies, and you talked about this, sometimes the allies don't look like you.
For sure.
Sometimes there will people who will give you advice or play a critical role in your life who look nothing like you. It's about being comfortable in those spaces too.
You have to be. I think that, now what I will say for the 10 and under, which is what I have, 10 and a 5, when he goes to karate, he sees all colors and shades of color, and they're all his friends. When my daughter goes to gymnastics, she sees all colors and shades of colors, and they are her friends. When my son comes with me and comes to a Broadway show, and they embrace him because I talk about him all the time, they're like, Adam, what's up? Adam Jr. He understands that, people want him to succeed that may not just look like him. And there's a fine line with us as well, as people of color, to also say that the people who look like you sometimes don't always want you to win too. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk about that as much. But there are some people that lurk on your page and see what you're doing with your wife and kids and all that because they may want to. There's a little jealousy and envy there. You know what I'm saying? And
What's that thing our like parents or grandparents would say? It's like all skin folk ain't kin folk.
that too. And
And
another homie said more money, more problems. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. But that's a real thing too.
we're just going to leave that right there. Everybody knows what we're talking about. We're going to just leave it right there.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
What are you up to next?
Yeah,
You are young. I mean, you've done a lot. There will be a lot to do. But what's next on your plate?
Yeah, there's always another level, and I'm so thankful that God gives me the foresight and gives me family and the creative space to do what I do. We are taking my Broadway play that I produced and arranged and co-orchestrated with Alicia Keys on the road. So Hell's Kitchen will be on tour. Super excited about that. I have a new album that just came out called Humble Magic. And it's doing pretty well. Everybody go get that Humble Magic. It's a little bit of jazz, a little bit of soul, a little bit of R&B, a little bit of gospel. It's all the things that embody me. I move around this world with humility, but I also am embracing knowing that the magic that lies within me, that comes from God, is impacted. I try to impact the world with it. So Humble Magic, that's what that's called. Just looking to expand in other business opportunities like we just talked about with everybody else. It's kind of like it's about that time. My gift has been able to make room for me so I can make some phone calls that 10 or 15 years ago I couldn't make and walk in the door. So just looking for those opportunities to help expand BBE, me and my wife's vision for sure.
You work with your wife.
Yes.
And you have 2 young children. You shared with me before we started our official conversation that you're also homeschooling.
Yes.
Your 2 young children.
Yes.
So dang, like what does free time look like? Like
it does.
How is your wife? That's a lot.
Yeah, she is the architect of the whole craziness in the house for sure. And she handles it so well. I'm so thankful for her. She allows me to be creative in a space to take the meetings and also the interviews and go on the gig sites and be on site and do all the things. So if it wasn't for her, I know that it would be very different. I think that we decided to do the homeschool thing when we had our son. We moved here to Delaware, and it was kind of trying to figure out the right move for the Black boy. You know what I mean? That we had saw early was just in a whole nother brain space. He is so intelligent and, but also sensitive and also creative and also, does math really, really fast and then wants to go to the studio and make a beat. You know what I mean? So it was like, what is the best space for that? So we decided to keep him homeschooled. And then COVID hit and everybody was homeschooled, right? You know what I mean? We had our daughter at that time as well. And then we just decided to not send them back to school. There have been some incredible online scholastic programs that remained through COVID. And so we're doing those along with my wife's curriculum here at the Manor School, and it's going really well. And so it's definitely hard. Today's Tuesday. Today was my day, and I'll be thinking like, I don't know how she does this every day. But it's something that we have to do. But I was like, by 1:30, I was like, I need a nap. So shout out to not only the homeschool parents, but my mom who has taught for 30 years. Shout out to all the good teachers out there who really care about our children. They don't go recognized enough. There's some bad ones out there that don't care about our kids as much as they should. But shout out to all the great teachers that do care. We appreciate you. All the homeschool moms and dads, it's a task and it's a feat, but we look toward the other side of success as well because we actually see the numbers increase, going up in success rates, and and early graduations, and so many younger teens taking college credit courses now, and all the things, man. Just having the opportunity to expand. With me and you've been talking about expansion. It's like my son gets to finish work early or get a goal to finish early and then come to the studio with me. My daughter gets to, finish her work early and say, okay, you can spend an extra hour on gymnastics or something like that. So it feels really cool to have that flexibility, but it ain't easy. And like I said, shout out to the spouses that, really take it super serious. Shout out to the teachers that allow us to move and shake how we do.
Partnership and community, those two things are really foundational to a lot. Who are you listening to right now?
That's a good question. Where's my phone? Let's see. I'm gonna look at the last thing I listened to. Tasha Cobbs. The new Giveon is crazy. I just listened to Michael Jackson. Love Leon Thomas. The new Jeezy album is crazy. All of the things. Hell's Kitchen Deluxe album. It's just my playlist is a little bit of everybody. I got a little bit of Glorilla on there.
Well, I will tell you this. I will be listening to your new album. I'm on my way to Mississippi. My family has a farm there that's been in our hands since my great-grandfather founded it. Yeah, he was one of the few Black landowners in the Delta. That's so amazing. In Clarksdale. So I will be listening to... no, I live in LA. I'm in LA, but I'm going with my mom, who hasn't been back to Mississippi since I think she left as a kid. And then we're taking the generation after me, taking
y'all have a good time. Y'all be safe.
We will be safe. We will be safe. We will be listening to you and gathering other musical inspirations that certainly I think have influenced you and provided joy for so many generations. Adam Blackstone, you are a treasure. You are a true treasure.
Thank you so much.
And I appreciate you being here, and I do hope you'll come back.
I will, for sure. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, my friend. You too.